Introducing S&P Capital IQ Pro. With 30 years of history powering the markets with essential industry intelligence, S&P Capital IQ Pro lets you make strategic business decisions with conviction, speed, and laser-focused insight. All from one integrated platform, accessible on any device. Powered by industry-defining data, S&P Capital IQ Pro provides fundamental industry and asset data, private and public company data, transactions, estimates, and ownership intelligence. With our unrivaled sector coverage, you'll receive data-driven news, research, and expert insights that reveal the complete picture of the industries that matter to you. From supply chains to ESG trend analysis, there's coverage for every workflow. Advanced visualization and analytical tools condense thousands of raw data points to uncover new perspectives of your markets, helping you spot what others can't. We designed S&P Capital IQ Pro with a purpose in mind, yours. Discover your power. Search S&P Capital IQ Pro today.
Austai Geophysical Consultants, providing expert advice for geophysical and geotechnical exploration carried out in the mining, metal sector of the materials market and energy market. Provide a wide range of geophysical and geotechnical services to environmental groundwater and engineering industries. Long-term experience in base metal exploration, pottery gold, and copper exploration, geophysical data processing, and modeling services. We have a wealth of international survey experience over the past 2 decades. Over 28 countries in some of the most remote and challenging environments. Our services: geophysical project design, field acquisition, field supervision, processing and modeling, data interpretation, induced polarization surveys, transient electromagnetic surveys, ground magnetic surveys, unmanned aerial vehicle magnetic service, downhole surveys, radiometric surveys, resistivity surveys, seismic surveys. Austai Geophysical Consultants.
The Philippine Mining Club and the Philippine Infrastructure and Construction Club are professional networking forums bringing industries together and creating opportunities for the Philippine mining and infrastructure and construction industries. Networking is about giving, not taking. It is about forming trust and helping one another toward mutual goals, regularly engaging with your contacts, and finding opportunities to strengthen relationships. Networking is a great opportunity to exchange best practice knowledge, learn about the business techniques of your peers, and stay abreast of the latest industry developments. Opportunities like partnerships, invitations to events, introductions, and giving talks and presentations bring challenges that benefit and feed your career, professional development, and personal interests. Gaining the advice of experienced peers is an important benefit of networking.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the 10th PMC series in our webinars. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today, the PMEA members and our marketing partners. And I hope you all have a very enjoyable, informative day with us today. Just before I get going, I'd like to mention and thank our valued marketing partners. For without these companies, of course, this webinar would not be possible. We'll start with our supporting partners, Major Drilling, Clean Earth Technologies, Hexagon Mining, Metso Outotec, Index, Cruz Marcelo and Terra Francia, First Metro Securities, Ollie Consulting Group, and Resources Comms. Following that, I'd like to thank our very valued foundation partners, starting with Weir Minerals, Site Skills Training, our principal partners, AusTie Geophysical Consultants, advice and guidance for geophysical exploration programs being carried out in the mining and metals sector, as well as the coal sector. AusTie Geophysical Consultants also provide a wide range of services to the environmental, groundwater, and engineering industries. Next, we have QED, Quest Exploration Drilling, Asia's leading exploration drilling company with modern equipment, well-trained staff. This has elevated QED to become the benchmark for international standard drilling operations in terrain that is generally typified by logistical constraints, geological complexity, and topographical extremes. Also, I'd like to talk about GHD. GHD has had a permanent presence in the Philippines since 1998, with over 600 professional staff spread across 3 cities in the Philippines. Their main office is in Makati, and 2 branches now in Cebu City and Quezon City, focused on creating lasting community benefit. GHD leverages on its connected global network of over 10,000 employees to provide engineering and environmental management services to key players in the energy and resources sector. Prime BMD offers to their clients services for major infrastructure projects throughout the Philippines and Southeast Asia. Expertise, experience, and resources are applied across the industry sectors of transport, water, ports, resources, and the energy sectors. Moving on, S&P Global Market Intelligence. S&P Global Market Intelligence integrates financial and industry data, research, and news into tools that help track performance, generate alpha, identify investment ideas, understand competitive and industry dynamics, perform valuations, and assess risks. Simplify and the complexity of an evolving global mining sector, from worldwide exploration discoveries, development, production, mine cost analysts, acquisition and activity, industries and battery metal markets, forecasts and analysts. Supply chain, credit research, and ESG. Their deep sector coverage provides a comprehensive view of the mining sector worldwide and connects you to global opportunities on a single platform. Stay on top of the fast evolving mining sector and evaluate opportunities at risk with essential data, analytics, and insights. The most trusted global mining sector data all in one place. That's the power of S&P Capital IQ Pro. I'd like to thank our industry partner, Oceana Gold, and we thank them for their ongoing support. The club is also affiliated with the Melbourne Mining Club, AMCEE, the Australian New Zealand Chamber of Commerce, PMEA, the Philippine Mining and Exploration Association, COMP, the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines, PMCEE, the Philippine Mine Safety and Environment Association, and Jungman, the Philippines. Our media partners is, of course, the Philippine Resources and Construction Journal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hand you over to Mr. Ian Lewis, who will say a few words about our EMCEE today. So over to you, Ian. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to say a few words, if I can, about our MC today. Joey is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Geology from UP Diliman. He trained under the MGB UNDP for 4 years. He worked in Indonesia for 10 years. He worked for Oxiana Limited and eventually Royal Co. Philippines until 2015. Currently, Joey does consulting work for a number of companies, primarily in exploration management, tenement management, government liaison, and other areas. Joey is also a competent person for geology. Currently, Joey is the president of the Philippine Mining and Exploration Association, better known as the PMEA, which prior to COVID-19 restrictions held monthly members' events at the Corinthian Plaza in Makati. These will commence again as soon as it is safe to do so. Joey is also the current chair of UP Geology Alumni Association. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to hand over now to our MC, Mr. Joey Nelson Ayson, who will give us also an update on the industry. Over to you, Joey.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Ian, for your kind introduction. But before I proceed with my industry updates, I just wish to highlight the following. We will be issuing certificates of attendance to attendees. You can request a copy from Ms. Joan Falcotella at joan@philippineminingclub.com. For your questions addressed to our speaker, please type them in the Q&A or chat box beneath the screen. Please indicate to whom you are directing the questions, and I will read them out to our speakers after all the presentations have been made during the Q&A. We will hold the Q&A after all speakers have made their presentations. Okay, having dispensed with all the preliminaries, let us proceed with the industry update. Joe, can you start sharing my slides? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who attended the PMA AGM last October 4, this presentation should be familiar with you. So, next slide. Just a bit of background on PMA for those of you who are familiar with PMEA. It originated from the International Mining and Exploration Association, or Committee, or IMEC, which was a subcommittee of the Joint Foreign Chambers of Commerce of the Philippines to monitor and represent the foreign companies investing directly or indirectly in the Philippines in the early 1990s. It was registered in September 1998 as Philippine Mineral Exploration Association to effectively represent the mineral exploration industry, including companies and investors. The change in name to Philippine Mining and Exploration Association in November 2011 reflected the fact that some of our members have graduated from exploration and have proceeded to development and mining. The association is managed by a board of 7 trustees who are elected by the members and do not receive any compensation. An administrator manages the day-to-day affairs of the association. So enough with the background. The next slide, please, Job. So let me start by giving a snapshot of the tenements tally as of end of September 2021. The 30 existing EPs cover a total of only 58,000 hectares, and 13 of them were approved in 2020 and 2 in 2021. 30 EPs are undergoing the renewal process, and another 29 have expired. The total MPSAs shown cover a total area of close to 584,000 hectares, and there are 287 existing MPSAs. So those under care and maintenance include the Shana Mine, now with TVI, the Placer Mine of Manila Mining, and the Felix Gold's Bulawan project. The Siocon mine and the Rapu-Rapu mine are examples of two mines under final rehabilitation and decommissioning status. The 6 FTAs cover close to 104,000 hectares and include Oceana Gold, SMI, FCF, and an offshore magnetite sand and gold project approved in late 2020. Over 90% of the mineral processing plants are for sand and gravel, aggregates, lime, basalt, and magnetite sand. Those for metallic ores include Philippine Gold Processing, Mindanao Mineral Processing, Coral Bay, and Taganito HPAL. The 189 existing industrial sand and gravel covered close to only 2,500 hectares. Next slide, please, Job. Okay, this slide just shows the 26 priority 1 projects as designated by the MGB early this year. Originally, there were 36 projects listed, but the 10 have been moved to priority 2. The 3 copper, gold, silver projects include TVI, Mount Labo, and Pargum. TVI has already commenced production at Balabag. We are also aware that there are 68 priority projects listed in priority 2, as mentioned by Director Moncano when he last talked to the PMEA. On the MICC news, the results of the second audit have already been released to the concerned mines and are expected to be available to the public very soon. At the PMA AGM, Yusek Agabin spoke a number of issues with the MICC, and he also advised that a third audit is being prepared to cover the non-metallic mines and 4 operations in BARM. As I understand, the MGB met with the MICC experts, NEDA, and the Department of Finance yesterday for some revisions in the technical reports. These revisions include some clarifications on policies before they actually release the reports to the public. A few industry statistics, which you may be also aware already. On the COVID response of the industry and the realignment of SDMP funds, the MGB final report in August 2020 showed that 407.6 million was realigned by 206 companies for the fight against COVID. And this was only from April to June 2020. Caraga had the highest realigned SDMP funds with about 129.5 million, followed by Mimaropa at 55 million. The top 2 companies with the highest contributions are Taganito HPAL and Coral Bay with 57.8 million and 36.3 million respectively. Going to the metallic production, for the first half of 2021, the MGB has reported a 24.5 increase. That's 68.63 billion pesos as compared to 55.13 billion for the same period in 2020. Incidentally, the total metallic production value for 2020 was 132.7 billion, and for 2019 was 130.9 billion. The higher metal prices in 2021 was a big factor in the increased values despite lower copper production, mainly due to the non-operation of Oceana Gold. Next slide, please. So let's go with the recent DNR MGB issuances. And I have shown also the dates when they were issued. So EO 130, so that's Executive Order 130. It only amended Section 4 of EO 79, which prohibits the issuance of mineral agreements until a new legislation rationalizing existing revenue sharing schemes and mechanisms are in effect. Section 4 also calls for a review of existing mining contracts for possible renegotiation under mutually acceptable terms. In effect, EO 130 lifts the moratorium on the grant of new mineral agreements and also mandates the formulation and strict implementation of safety and environment policies as it pertains to the mining industry. I will discuss the IR of EO 130 later, as I will address the DAOs in their numeric order. DAO is a DNR administrative order. So DAO 2021-11 is the guidelines in the processing and issuance of permits for cutting, removal, and relocation of naturally growing trees. So the pertinent provisions of this DAO just delegates the authority to issue tree cutting permits to the regional level, and the duration of tree cutting permit will be based on the volume granted, but not to exceed 1 year at any given time. Now, this is an interesting DAO. DAO 2021-12, guidelines for the automatic renewal of the expiration period and the timely filing of DMPF under the EP, MPSA, FTA, and similar mining tenements. Pertinent provisions of this DAO include automatic renewal of the expiration period, provided the tenement holders submit a list of requirements 60 days prior to the expiration. Now, these are the environmental work program, exploration work program, and the summary of activities. Now, there is a provision, section 4 of this DAO, which states that all existing tenements that were issued prior to DAO 2017-10, so this is a DAO on the ban on open pit mines, shall continue and shall not be affected by the said ban. So I think the DAO 2017-10 was issued in April 27, 2017. Next, DAO 2021-19, updated water quality guidelines and general effluent standards for selected parameters. It's just self-explanatory, and it just provides the revised allowable limits for certain parameters like copper, sulfate, etc., of other discharges to the different classes of water bodies. Now, DAO 2021-25 is the IRR of EO 130. Though it came about 3.5 months after the actual issuance of the EO, the reason was there were a number of consultations, and even during the initial consultations, there were discussions on possibly including the lifting of the open pit ban. However, the final version of the DAO did not include this, and there might be another DAO on that. There is, however, a transitory provision in this DAO that says that all pending mineral agreement applications intended for exploration shall be converted to exploration permit applications. Next, DAO 2021-26, rules and regulations regarding the establishment, harvesting, and transport of bamboo. Again, it's self-explanatory, and I think Lei would love to discuss this, so let's have that the next time. DAO 2021-29 extends the deadline of application period for the disposition of residual stockpiles. I think this only applies to legitimate small-scale mining operations, and they have extended the deadline to December 2021. There are also a few MGB memorandum orders, and memorandum circulars, including one on the realignment of SDMP and safety and health plans for the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. MGB Memorandum Order 2020-007 now allows online payments, but I think this only affected in the MGB central office as of now. I'm not sure if the regions have also done this. MGB Memorandum Circular 2020-008. It's really an offshoot of the first approved offshore mining project off the coast of Cagayan of JDVC Resources. We are aware that there are now over 100 EP applications for offshore exploration all over the country. Next slide, please. MGB Memorandum Circular 2020-009 applies to energy projects requesting for area clearance and status from the MGB. And I think they have only 1 day to plat the area and issue the clearance. I hope this could also be done for the mineral industry. MGB Memorandum Circular 2020-010 clarifies that the detailed economic geology report required in the environmental impact statement will also be the same as the final exploration report submitted in the declaration of mining project feasibility document. So you don't have to have two reports when you do your EIS. MGB Memorandum Circular 2021-006. Now, this is a 277-page manual on safe and health, environment, and social development and management. It has a template in the preparation of safety and health programs, environmental work programs, EPEP, final mine rehabilitation, decommissioning plans, SDMPs. So all you have to do is get a template and you just change some of the facts. And I think we have a copy in the PMA website. The MGB has facilitated the preparation of these standard forms. Now, under review is the lifting of the open pit ban. So the MGB has already crafted a DAO on this, and they have successfully defended the proposed DAO in the Policy Technical Working Group, both of the MGB and the DNR. And as I understand, it's now at the desk of the DNR Secretary. So we are just awaiting when it will be signed. Another proposed DAO is on defining the parameters of what type of surface mining can be undertaken as proposed in the DMPF submitted. I think they are mentioning alternatives to open pit mining in this DAO. Also under review is a proposed DAO on biodiversity conservation and protection in all stages of mining, from exploration to disclosure. The DNR and MGB are also exploring avenues of increasing government revenues from mining, such as increasing the mine waste and tailings fees. As I recall, a few years ago, such a proposal was made, doubling the rates. Taxing windfall profits on a sliding scale is also being studied. On the declaration of mineral reservations, an option is to look at the government assets and legacy mines and abandoned mines first and declare them as mineral reservations before looking at existing projects that are outside reservations. There is also a proposal to have a unified national IEC plan as part of the mine responsibility campaign, and the budget will be taken from the portion of the SDMP funds. And as I understand, a series of meetings have already been undertaken with the industry. I think they're just discussing on the collection, who will be collecting the funds for this IEC plan, as not all companies are members of either the chamber or EMCEE or the CEMAP, so they have to sort that out. Lastly, I think there's also a proposal to harness small-scale mining as a catalyst and contributor to rural development. This may be in the form of a DAO or even an executive order. I think this is really to help revive the Philippine economy and on the countryside level. Next slide, please. Okay, from the MGB and DNR, let's go to pending mining-related bills in the Senate and Congress, though we may not see any or much movement in this because elections are just around the corner. But let me just mention the provisions of these pending bills. And I'd like to thank Attorney Quintero and Alvin Tan of QT for helping me on this. So Senate Bill 313, establishing the fiscal regime of the mining industry. You can also see who are the proponents and where it is now, or is it pending in what committee. So this bill seeks to impose a margin-based royalty on income from mining operations at the rate of 1% to 5% for large-scale metallic and non-metallic operations outside mineral reservations, and a fixed 3% of the gross output of minerals extracted or produced within mineral reservations. small-scale mining operations within or outside mineral reservations are imposed a royalty fee of 1/10 of 1% of gross output. Furthermore, this bill seeks to impose a margin-based windfall profits tax on income. SBN 353, that's the Alternative Minerals Management Act. So this is really drastic. It seeks to overhaul the current mining policy framework from being export-oriented and to catering to the domestic needs of the Philippines. Exploration will be undertaken by the state directly, and the MGB shall be a scientific research institution under the DNR. FTAs cannot be awarded to foreign entities or persons. Open pit mining and submarine tailings disposal methods are prohibited. Aside from the taxes and fees, the government shall have at least a 10% share of the gross revenues. SBN 886, or the National Land Use Policy Act of 2019. So it aims to institutionalize land use and physical planning to determine the appropriate land use to ensure sustainable management and development of our natural resources. So I think it allows multiple land use, and mineral lands which have been mined out shall revert to its original classification, either as forest land or agricultural land. SBN 1495, Mineral Resources Act. I think it's also similar to the SBN 353, which I mentioned earlier. Okay, in Congress, House Bill 113, an act prescribing standards for responsible mining. So this bill just seeks to apply the standards of responsible mining like those in developed countries like Canada and Australia. And I think the initiative was from the Responsible Mining Assurance of Canada in 2016. The Chamber of Mines was already put in stream towards sustainable mining, and they should answer this bill. HB 254, People's Mining Act. This also reverses the liberalization of mining under current mining laws, similar to the one proposed in the Senate. It changes the decision-making process in approving mineral agreements from the decision of the President or the DNR and the MGB. It will now include affected community and other stakeholders. HB 2712 requires a legislative franchise for mineral agreements, FTAs. So just requiring mining contractors to obtain a legislative franchise before entering into a mineral agreement or FTA. And I think this with Congress, so this would be difficult. Okay, next slide, please. So HB 6135, establishing the fiscal regime of the mining industry. I think this is the one proposed by Joey Salceda, and it's really a substitution of a number of House bills. And similar to SBN 313, it seeks to impose a margin-based royalties on income from mining operations. HB 6450, Open Pit Mining Moratorium Act. So this bill seeks to impose a 25-year moratorium or suspension on the approval and commencement of mining activities of copper, gold, and silver and complex ores that have not commenced operations. And finally, HB 9775, Promotion of Minerals Processing and Value Adding Act. So it just provides incentives for individuals, partnerships, cooperatives, corporations, and other entities engaged in mineral processing. It also seeks to implement a gradual or partial restriction on the exportation of raw metallic ores. Now, from the legal, let's just a few company news on OceanaGold. So the FTA was renewed by the Office of the President in July 14, 2021 for another 25 years. So that's until 2044. And the effective date of the renewal was June 19, 2019, which was the date of the FTA expiry. The renewal came after OceanaGold agreed to additional terms and conditions of the FTA, such as an additional 1.5% of gross revenue to be allocated to community development, amongst others. At the time of the FTA expiry, Oceana Gold had approximately 15,000 DMT of gold copper concentrate inventory at its mine site. And I think by mid-October, so about now, this should have been completely shipped out. For those of you know, I think Mick McMullen of Lafayette, he has now been appointed a non-executive director of Oceana Gold in May this year. Okay, the Red 5, the investment in Oceana. So in September 2021, Red 5 announced that it has sold its interest in Greenstone Resources, which is a tenement holder of the Oceana Mine and the Mapawa projects in Surigao del Norte to TVI. The sale was in consideration of payment of $19 million and a 3.25% NSR royalty up to 619,000 ounces of gold. TVI expects to restart operations in the first half of 2023. Now, talking about TVI, it has just achieved its first gold production at its Balabag project in Bayog, Zamboanga del Sur. The first shipment of gold ore containing 932 ounces gold and 25,959 ounces silver was valued at just about $2.2 million. So this is really more of a silver gold mine. And Celsius Resources, this group acquired Freeport assets in September last year, including their flagship MCB project, which is located near the Batungbuhay mine in Kalinga. In January this year, Celsius announced an indicated and inferred resource of 313.8 million metric tons at 0.48% copper and 0.15 gram per ton gold. Metallurgical testing of recent drill cores indicate an average recovery of 94% for copper and 79% for gold. Next slide, please. So PMRCC, that's the Philippine Mineral Reporting Code. So we are updating the Philippine Mineral Reporting Code from the 2007 version to a 2020 version. And this is actually patterned after JORC. And the draft of the PMRC 2020 has undergone 2 public consultations and has now been endorsed by the Philippine Stock Exchange to the SEC for approval. On the 2020 PMIEA, that's the Presidential Mineral Industry Environment Awards. So the evaluation and offsite validation of the PMIA Platinum and Titanium Awards are currently ongoing. This is expected to be completed by October 22, and the virtual awarding has been scheduled in November 26. I think it will be a hybrid as with last year. So a few upcoming events, Metcon, that's for the metallurgical engineers, October 20 to 22. October 29, so that's again Weir Minerals on Philippine Mining Club. November 24 to 26, so the annual National Mine Safety Environment Conference will be proceeding. It will be virtual on November 24-26, and the PMA will be holding a webinar on mine safety best practice on the 24th. And then December 6 to 8, that's the GeoSEA 2021 organized by the Geological Society of the Philippines. That's it. Thank you. And I close with a picture of the Balabag mine, the country's latest mine. Congratulations, TVI. Right, let me just grab a drink. Now, after doing the updates, let's now go to our main presenters this afternoon. Allow me to say a few words about our speakers from Metso Outotec. So it's Metso Outotec, guys. It's not Metso, it's not Outotec, it's Metso Outotec. As they're planning to have a joint presentation, let me introduce both of them at the onset so that they can do their presentation seamlessly. Kaisa Jungman will be the first presenter, and she's the Director of Sustainable Business Development. Kaisa has been working with the sustainability related topics at Metso Outotec since 2007, with sustainability being her defining passion. Sustainability is a must in today's corporate world, and the wisest companies make good business out of reducing the impact of their operations while helping their customers improve their environmental efficiency and productivity. In her current role, Kaisa supports the company's business areas in further developing their sustainability initiatives while looking to differentiate the company from other players in the industry. Together, we are striving to make the largest positive impact for the globe and for our customers through our offering. And following Kaisa, Matt Gallimore will the Senior Manager for Sustainability Program. Matt has worked at Metso Outotec for 25 years. He has had roles working with process engineering, product management, and R&D. In his current role as Senior Manager Sustainability Program, he works with a range of mineral processing products covering transportation, size reduction, size classification, mineral separation, and dewatering. In addition to helping develop and pursue environmental targets, he advocates among stakeholders the need to integrate a sustainability mindset into both our short and long-term actions. So I guess enough introduction for both our very good speakers. And Kaisa, I understand you will be presenting first. So a virtual applause for Kaisa, everyone.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Kaisa.
Good, good. Are you sharing the slides or should we?
Job, are you sharing the slides, or if you can share the slides?
Well, I can share it after before the or after the video.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's start with the video.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kaisa.
I believe, yeah, let's start for them. I'm gonna wait for the slides. Okay, let me just try that. I guess I can't make them go forward. Is that right? I'm pressing the arrows, but nothing happens. So I will just let you know when the next slide should come. Let's do so. Yeah, so thank you for having us today. We are going to present what we as a company do for the sustainability, and sustainability meaning here taking care of the environment and people and economics all together to become a successful company in all of these areas. And if it was not clear in the video, so we are providing technologies and services for the mining industry. And together with Matt, we are trying to explain today what sustainability means in our company and what kind of solutions we have for the mining industry. Next ones, please. Okay, so our purpose, enabling sustainable modern life. So it means in practice, as we all know, metals and minerals are needed everywhere to build a modern society, in the roads and buildings and electric cars, windmills, etc. And we see that our biggest impact in sustainability is providing those technologies and services that are cutting down the burden on the environment in our customer processes in the mines. So we can provide solutions to cut down the energy consumption or the water consumption, circulating materials and water, and reducing emissions to land, soil, air, etc. And of course, providing the extensive range of services to keep the equipment going in a best possible way. Yes, we can move to the next slide, please. This is describing our sustainability agenda in a nutshell. We say that sustainability means having a net positive impact on the globe. And what we mean by that is that even though on the lower side of this picture called footprint is the area where we generate emissions when we produce the products in our own manufacturing sites, when we procure components and raw materials from our suppliers, we do generate emissions. And of course, there's logistics to take the stuff into our production sites, but then also to the customers. But on the upper side of the picture, handprint, that means the positive impact we can bring to our customers through our solutions we provide for them. And the net positive impact really means that if we look at the positive impact, it's much bigger than the sort of the negative footprint we generate when we produce the goods and services. Nevertheless, it's very important to focus also on the footprint side. So we do have different kind of targets to reduce the environmental burden in our own manufacturing, also pushing our suppliers to improve. And of course, people-related topics are very important: health and safety, well-being, engagement of the people, and we're also focusing heavily on suppliers, human rights-related topics, their safety practices, and also pushing our suppliers to set CO2 targets, as an example. And then on the handprint side, offering solutions for customers in all these four areas: safety, energy efficiency, emissions, water, and circularity, which means recovering of materials, recycling, resource efficiency, etc. And then on the left side, where we say we are committed to 1.5 degrees journey, that means that we have committed to so-called science-based targets, which are in a level that we are doing our share so that the global temperature would not go above 1.5 degrees, which has come from the scientists that that's a level of global temperature that we should not go above. And if we go, there will be a lot of implications to the nature and to the whole globe. Yes, next slide, please. Yeah, a lot of stuff here, the same picture here on the left side. Some of the examples, what we do on the handprint. First of all, for many of our technologies, we have been calculating so-called handprint, CO2 handprint, where we compare different technologies and show for the customer and all the other stakeholders that what's the level of reductions you can gain from in CO2 or other topics where you chose an alternative technology. So there's a lot of savings you can do with better technological solutions. And then we have identified from our portfolio over 100 solutions and services, what we call Planet Positive. The idea there is that these solutions we have pinpointed from our product portfolio are doing significant reductions for the customer in terms of water, energy emissions, circularity, and safety. And our target is to grow the sales of these offerings each year. And actually now I noticed that this is a bit of an old slide. I think we have some new targets, but nevertheless, the topic is quite the same. Also the R&D target, I think we just updated that one. And actually now it is that 100% of our R&D spend should go to projects with sustainability targets. So it's really begins from the R&D. And on the footprint side, just name a few examples, reducing the emissions coming from the logistics by planning, for example, the logistic routes, better paying attention to the load of the transportation, and getting rid of the extensive amount of warehouses, and really, do better planning there, but also cooperating with the logistic partners that are focusing on sustainability. Pushing out the suppliers to improve, and also reducing energy and water consumption in our own factories, and of course heavily focusing on safety, which is always the priority, to keep the people safe. Next one, please. Yeah, some highlights from last year. They are already getting old. Soon we will publish the new numbers, but maybe some highlights here. 60% reduction in our own emissions last year when we moved to buying renewable electricity in all our locations, production locations, reducing the logistic emissions, pushing the suppliers, having science-based target as well, which is not so easy. It's sort of a process you need to go through and set certain type of CO2 emission targets, but that person is already much higher today. Sustainability in many of the R&D projects, I think the number is now almost, I think it's 98 already. So most of our sustainability R&D projects are focusing on sustainability. And on the handprint side, this just indicates that with our technologies, the reduced emissions last year, according to our calculations, were over 8 million tons of CO2, while in our own production, logistics and suppliers, we generated about 1 million tons of CO2. So 8 times more you can reduce in the custom operations when calculating for some of the products. Surely it wasn't the whole product range, but with some examples from our product portfolio. Next one, please. Yes, I believe this is the last slide. Most of this maybe I said already. The Planet Positive portfolio, we will talk about it in the coming months much more. That how have we identified actually the products, what are they doing for the customer, and what kind of threshold levels we are setting for the solution. So what does it take to become a Planet Positive solution in our portfolio? So we have a certain type of assessment there that we go through with each of the products, and they need to fulfill certain criteria so that we can show that compared to the industry baseline technology, which means basically a competitive technology in the market, we can state and show that our Planet Positive technology or service is bringing a significant improvement for the customer. Yeah, and I guess we can move on to the maths part here. Thank you.
Okay.
Matt, are you there? You can continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Matt.
Okay.
Here.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Matt.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, the main idea of this presentation is Metso Outotec as your partner in sustainability, which is an important idea. As a manufacturer and designer of equipment and flow sheets, our product development are driven by customer feedback in the field with customers. That provides the method to improve our designs that later can get spread throughout the industry. Just got a message that my communication is jumpy. I'll drop the video and see if that improves the audio. So today I'll talk a little bit about tech, but for the most part, it will be about products that are available to new installations and improvements for existing facilities to reduce. This slide shows flowsheet activities. So looking at this as a series of operations, the starting point on the left is where we are now. And this shows what needs to change. The minus signs show areas of focus to reduce those flows. For top, trend with the ore as it goes through a flow sheet, and we need to have flow sheets that reduce those inputs. Where there is a plus sign, it indicates a future with more water recirculation in a concentrator. And on the bottom left, the brown is the ore flow. And the plus sign shows an increase in that mass flow. We need to reduce the total amount of energy and water consumed in concentrate production. The tons per hour of ore sent to the concentrator. Bulk ore sorting and particle sorting divert waste rock, so it avoids. For what does go further in processing, if we can use more energy efficient technologies for size reduction, that helps. In addition to reducing the energy requirements, we need to design plants around less water use through greater closed water loops and developing less water intensive processes. And that should also help with tailings management. Along with this, more efficient mineral separation will reduce target minerals going to tailings. That also means the energy put into mining and grinding for that mass is not lost to tailings, but goes to concentrate. With this in mind, we have product development roadmaps across our offering to deliver sustainability benefits. Today, I'd like to share a funny one that are part of our sustainability offering. And since many of you may not be looking to build new plants, but improve what you have now, parts and improving equipment operation. Next slide, please. All right, the theme of this talk is partners in sustainability. One way to present this is to mention that our new product developments are driven by customer needs beyond continuous product improvement. We have projects which involve collaboration with customers from early stage ideas through plant piloting trials. Some customer engagement involves a willingness to have a trial with new technologies. Other project involvements go from an early stage technology exploration all the way through. Those collaborations can last several years. Now be aware, companies like Metso have mining operations to test new technologies. The validation will almost always require customer involvement when piloting industrial-sized equipment. Reason why we, as a vendor, are very keen on engaging with customers. Where that's pointing us now is to focus on reducing energy, improvements to wear component life, and improving the overall circularity of our products. Safety has been a consistent requirement from many customers in the industry for a long time, and it is core to the design of all the products that we develop. In 2021, we had with 32 active trials. That's a lot of projects, and many of them being developed with active customer engagement. Share a sample of some new products that were released this year. Next slide, please. In the past few months, we released these products. The Foresight and Fit mining crusher stations. The Fit is designed for, it also reduces installation time by 15%. The production range is 200 to 3,000 tons per hour for these mobile crushing stations. And mobile crushing stations, so semi-mobile crushing stations, can reduce the total haul truck demand over the life of mine operations. The Foresight are smart stations. They use extra instrumentation like Visio-Rock cameras for the feed and product size distributions. The Foresight can adjust the controls for wear compensation and the crushed rock size. Typical configuration for Foresight would have a crusher, screen, and feeder. Capacities would be from 1,000 to 6,000 tons per hour. For the HRCE, this is the redesigned HRC. It's now in a more compact installation size. The arch frame was replaced with a load distributor for skew control. The HRC uses flanges to increase the crushing zone and prevent ore bypass, which is common in standard HPGRs. And this concept is also available as a retrofit package. The next one is the reactor well. This is an improved feed well design and is used with thickeners and clarifiers. This is a patented feed well design, and it has openings designed to allow for continuous slurry introduction into the thickener or clarifier. Into the thickener from the feed well results in better flocculant use and allows for provides a clearer overflow and a thicker underflow. This is going to be part of our standard offering with all of our thickeners and clarifiers going forward. The other one is the MD pump. That's the mill discharge pump. The 800 is the largest of its series, and it comes like all MD pumps, standard with Envirosec glands, which reduce seawater use by 40 to 80%. In typical plants, pump seawater accounts for about 7% of the overall. So this can represent a considerable cost to operations. Also worth mentioning, these pumps are designed to have interchangeable steel or rubber parts, so you can use what provides the best performance. The next MD pump in development is a larger one, the MD 900. Next slide, please. Just to show a bit of range in the products released in the Cyclone Sense and the Courier 6G SL. The Cyclone Sense monitors the cyclone air core for disturbance and roping. It'll work with our cyclones as well as competitor cyclones. If this is paired with a particle size analyzer, the controls can therefore be used for the system to maintain the best operating point for the grinding circuit, or it can be used to maintain a target size for the flotation circuit. The Courier 6G is a new assay instrument, the central Courier unit. It has a more powerful X-ray tube and greater sensitivity to measure low concentrations of gold. It's primarily intended for gold, but it can measure elements between calcium and uranium. So that's a wide range of density. And of course, it's designed for linear metallurgical sampler. It's an automatic sampler, and like other automatic samplers, it will improve the process. It enables improving process control decisions from the accurate samples that are collected. And it, of course, comes with a standard set of controls and has self-diagnostic capabilities. The last item is more typical. It's a filter press, FFP 3716. It is a large filter press. It has the same benefits as other FFPs. Though it is large, it has short technical times. And for extra drying, it's designed for, and that can reduce the process time as well as reduce wear on the filter. That is in addition to getting a drier cake. Next slide, please. Okay, there are other products launched this year of what you just saw into a type of flow sheet with some of our existing products. Now, this is not all of our sustainable offering. It's just some, give an idea of where things fit in operations. So we have something to offer from the mine all the way to water management. The IPCC, the in-pit crushing and conveying, has a design team at our company with expertise in mine planning. They can compare mine compared to IPCC options and calculate the relative benefits of each. And it helps more clearly see when IPCC is mobile equipment. For us, this is not trucks. This is mobile sizers, mobile crushers. For these, we have both electric and diesel options for many of these. And under that is ESI, idlers. These can reduce the conveyor motor power by up to 30% for long and flat runs. But they are also still benefit because there's a less belt sag. it's worth noting that the belt life, the conveyor belt life, is significantly extended with ESI idlers as well. And we have some other well-established products on this list. In comminution, there are stirred mills, which are much more energy efficient than horizontal mills. Also, ag, those are autogenous mills, and pebble mills, which avoid the embodied CO2 from the steel media. For mineral separation, there are several products. Some were put on the list, such as skim air, which is flash flotation cell, often used in grinding circuits with dense target minerals. That reduces overgrinding and improves recovery. It reduces tailings and provides a coarser particle stream to concentrate, which helps. Float force is the mechanism designed for lower energy consumption and high process performance, and it goes into our tank cells. Float cells. We can do trade-off studies for different flow sheets and flotation circuits to determine what provides the best recovery or grade and relative power consumption to expect from the circuits as well from an early stage. Next is the Concord cell. This is a new technology for vehicles. It's designed for those more finely disseminated ore bodies. And this product was launched in 2021, well, just now. The next column, under thickening and clarifying, we mentioned reactor well. The IPS inclined plates and reduces reagent consumption. Under filtration, the CC is a ceramic media vacuum filter that uses just about 2%, that's 2% of the vacuum pump power compared to fabric vacuum filters. The two press handles ultrafines more efficiently than any filter press and uses a fraction of the power that thermal drying would otherwise require. And for water treatment, there are offerings from everything. FEM Water Advisor helps asset management with water sources and pond management and things like that. It can be used with field instrumentation to monitor water. And it helps with the water management and reporting. In light of today's topic, I'd like to mention we should be aware that process water treatment is more important than often thought. When recycling plant water in the concentrator, you get a buildup of salts, ions, and chemicals that impair performance of the concentrator. For example, flotation and dewatering. By cleaning the water of adverse components, concentrator performance can be maintained even with extremely high recirculation loads of water. This is often overlooked, but testing can show the effects of this degradation on the process and the benefits of cleaning the plant water to improve the mineral separation and dewatering. And across the bottom are more digital things. Advanced process controls are the type of improvement that brings significant process benefits. Advanced analytics are relatively new, but they help not just process performance, but also with predictive analytics, mechanical performance. And of course, flow sheet optimizations can be done with simulation tools. Next slide, please. Okay, that was talking about equipment and benefits. Not everyone wants to know about new machines. You have plants already and need to next topic, in this case, wear components. On this slide are 6 examples of areas that benefit with the right selection of wear components. Item number 1 is a truck body and liner. This truck body liner is made of rubber. It's wear resistant, shock absorbing, and reduces impact and vibrations, which help maintenance on the truck as well. It reduces noise by 10 to 15 decibels and vibration for the driver. But since we're talking about sustainability, it is also up to 30% lighter than a steel-lined truck body. And so that allows you to haul more weight with every trip, and less fuel is used. Item 2 is wear lining. That covers chutes and transfer points and other locations. We have both optimal design with high fidelity simulations and wear life. And there's also instrumentation, such as wear sense for condition monitoring. Item 3, crusher wear parts, components, or the chamber being optimized. You can get up to 3 times longer wear life from these components. And or depending on the goal, you operate with lower energy consumption. Item 4 is screening media. It can be safer than older media because we have a hammerless attachment system, and it can use less water for when you're using self-cleaning screen media. As examples. Item 5, conveyor solutions. That's like the ESI idler that was mentioned before, which can be, of course, retrofitted into existing plants, and a longer belt life and lower power consumption. Connected to belt material selection. You can optimize the belt for power, for wear life, for what you want to optimize, which can be designed like the for faster reline jobs, like with mega liner and optimal life of liner, or power per ton in a sag mill. So designs can improve the wear life and process performance of your sag mill liners. And we're working on setting up recycling programs, starting with the metallic liners and then mega liner. Next slide, please. Beyond wear service offerings as well. And these are just a few examples. Crusher upgrades to modernize crushers, increasing the total mills to increase plant capacity without adding a lot of extra equipment. Flotation cells have several upgrade options available. 2 are listed here. Replace other mechanisms to reduce power draw of a cell. Considering the number of cells some plants have, this can translate into a lot of CO2 per year. Center launder discharge improves typically the recovery in rougher banks, while also reducing the lower air power, prevents losses to tailings. So you can get more sellable product from that. And filter press expansions Well, you have expand can provide extra capacity. These install extra filter plates so there can be greater throughput. And that should be done without any changes to the filter footprint. And that can decrease the CO2 emissions from the increased production per cycle, which should decrease the total electricity and water, please. Next slide, please. As mentioned, there are many equipment-specific upgrades, polymer bearing pads. They're better in many ways than babbited or bronze pads. There's no need for accumulators to protect and keep electricity, for example. And less oil is needed, so a smaller reservoir is possible. And a pump uses less oil, so less electricity. Of course, are available to help every part of a concentrator operation. And remote site support has been utilized to commission some equipment from 2020, commissioned remotely, and has also benefited from service engineers doing remote inspections of equipment. And for digital monitoring, there are asset analytics and check for anomalies and operations and provide suggestions to improve performance. And there are also consulting services, options to improve operations. Next slide, please. Okay, this just shows some of the consulting services available, from blasting in the mine to concentrator operation. So whether it is a unit machine or the overall flow sheet being evaluated, there are process experts available to help you get more out of your operation. And next slide, please. So this briefly tried to touch on some of the equipment and services available to improve efficiency in your operations. There are many other things we offer. However, one idea to stress: the entire range of products and services start with customers and what they communicated they need. So going forward, there are many things that must be done to reduce energy and water use and other factors related to ESG and license to operate. Metso Outotec is committed to developing solutions for these challenges. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Matt and Kaisa. So let's now open the Q&A portion. And may I just ask the first question? I was a bit intrigued on Kaisa's opening slide when she mentioned a 1.5 degree Celsius. So what's the concept behind why not 1 or why not 0.5 or even 2 degrees? Is that a corporate something? You're on mute, Kaisa.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a good question. I think it comes from the, I know it's comes from the scientists. So there's different scenarios what will happen in the globe if the global temperature will go, if it rises 2 degrees or if it rises 1 degree or 1.5. And at the moment they consider that this 1.5 is still something we can live with. So therefore, many companies are now using certain I mean, there's certain guidelines what type of targets you need to set so that you are aligned with this 1.5 degrees scenario. So it means that we all need to work on the fact that the global temperature would not rise above this 1.5. Of course, more it grows, more there's going to be problems, bigger environmental catastrophes and etc. As you know what the temperature rise causes in different parts of the world. So the 1.5 is at the moment considered to be the limit we wouldn't want to go above. So there it comes from.
Okay, thank you. Let me just go over. There's an interesting comment from Luigi Dison. I think Rudy's answered, but let me just share it with everybody. I wonder if the technology, effectively and efficiency of the Metso Outotec products can be compared with the traditional or conventional mining process within the standard flow sheet to prove the difference using Metso Outotec technologies. And I think he has a follow-up question on the Philippines, a high cost of energy. So what could Metso do to help reduce this cost of energy? Anybody from Metso or?
Yeah, I'll talk. There are several products that are benchmarked against conventional equipment and are marketed specifically for their energy saving characteristics. So it's frequently in size reduction because so much energy is used with size reduction. But it also, we have energy saving in mineral separation, in dewatering. So pretty much across the board, we have something for energy reduction, but it's different on a machine by machine basis. What is interesting is when you look at different flow sheet concepts where you get to leverage the best benefit that provides an overall enhanced performance. So we're not talking about putting a better machine in the same flow sheet.
Yeah,
we're talking about putting in the best possible flow sheet.
Matt is a bit lagging, but thank you, Matt. I'm sure there are representatives from Metso Outotec here who are happy to oblige and give Rigi a demonstration. And okay, so let me get back to your sustainability presentation. And what do you think would be the biggest drivers for sustainability in Metso Outotec?
Biggest drivers here, I guess there's many drivers there. Of course, first of all, these national and global commitments that companies are focusing, like the Paris Agreement on climate change is pushing all the companies to tell that what are they going to do about it. So surely that's one thing, and of course the biggest driver comes from the customers, that they want to have better solutions, and they set their own sustainability targets, and we need to see what kind of things we can do to support them then in their journey to reducing energy and etc. And of course, if there's a high price in energy, so it's good to have a solution that minimizes the energy consumption in that particular process. And surely then there's a lot of investors today asking from our company, for example, I would say weekly, on certain all kinds of sustainability related topics. They want to see that companies are performing good today and that they are going to be there also in the next year. So they are doing the necessary actions to be in the competition. So it also includes sustainability things, that you need to show that you take care of your people, and you have talented people in the house, and you will going to have them in the future also. So you are an attractive company, and then they want to know also that what's the share of your net sales coming from technologies and services that are really doing good for the environment. So therefore, when I told about our Planet Positive portfolio, so that's very, important topic today in the discussions with the investors. They want to understand that what kind of solutions we have and are we going to be competitive also in the coming years.
Can I borrow 100? No. Okay, thank you for that, Kaisa. Well, related to that question, maybe could you provide examples of your sustainability offerings here in the Philippines and or what you've installed for the Philippine mining market?
I must admit that I'm not an expert on the Philippine market. I don't know if Matt, you have, or someone else.
Or I think Rudy's also here, maybe.
Yeah.
Rudy.
We have.
Matt, do you want to answer or would you like me to answer?
Well, you can answer since my connection apparently
Sure.
has been dropping.
Joey, thank you. That's a good question, and I'll start by saying that Metso Outotec has a fairly large installed base of sustainable solutions in many mines and quarries in the Philippines. One example of this is where two of the largest copper mines in the Philippines employ Metso Outotec's tank cell flotation with our float force and skim air mechanism technologies in their concentrators. Metso Outotec's cutting-edge technologies plays an active role in offering a sustainable solution without compromising mineral recovery performance. Another example of this is in the Philippines is the use of Metso Outotec's proprietary BIOX technology at a gold mine site in the Philippines. And incidentally, this same operation also employs Metso Outotec's tank cell flotation cells in its flotation circuit, which helps them to maintain optimal gold recovery levels in the float circuit. And I would say lastly that we also run a number of active trials on our NDM pump series and on some of the gold mining and copper mining sites in the Philippines. And we would be happy to provide more info with some inquiries on that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I was just thinking because Matt mentioned also earlier, if I think I heard him right, that Metso Outotec is also willing to work with customers to upgrade or refurbish or an existing plant, which may not be a Metso Outotec a plant. Is that correct? Did I hear that right? To help the customers, yeah.
That's correct, Joe. Yeah, we've done that in the past, and we're absolutely open to looking at that for things like retrofitting flotation cells and the like. So yes, the answer to that is yes.
Yeah. So let's see more questions. Job, how are we for time? Are we still okay, or are we supposed to?
I think we still have two more. Time for two more questions.
Okay, let me see if I could see the questions. So anyway, we're talking about sustainability. So what probably are the biggest trends in sustainability right now, and how do you see it evolving?
Yeah, well, I would definitely say that this climate change is, of course, one big trend that everybody's talking about it. But surely, if we think about mining, there's also other issues than just carbon and energy, of course, obviously, what is linked to it. But water is a relevant topic there, and also other kinds of emissions. And I think circular economy is one other big topic and trend, that what are companies doing? How can you discover that someone else's waste is actually a valuable material? So how to be sort of more efficient, not to just leave a pile of waste behind you, but actually utilize everything you can and be more efficient. So I think that's a big trend as well. And then companies also started to talk about biodiversity, which is also a little bit similar type of topic, that how are your operations affecting the land and the animals and everything, the whole nature. So I think the trend is that all the time you need to talk more about these issues, and you're under pressure to improve, and many stakeholders and future employees also are asking more and more about. So I think the trend is all just growing and not going anywhere, and it's going to be just more and more difficult for companies to, tackle the solutions. And the winners are really those that, take it to their strategies and really put effort on these topics.
And probably you're linking this with your strategies in practice.
Yeah, sure. It's part of the core strategy. So our management team and the board and everybody is regularly following the topic. So we have certain KPIs, certain metrics that they follow. So we have set targets for the sales and reduction of the emissions, etc. And also all our business areas have their own sustainability KPIs and programs in place. So I would say that it's a combined effort from everybody, that it starts from the R&D and ends up in the how we take back some of the products from the customers and utilize them again. So I think it's quite a holistic way to look at it and in the core of the strategy today.
Okay, thank you, Kaisa and Matt and Rudy, and to Metso Outotec. I think we're just almost out of time, and unless there's a important really question I haven't seen in the chat box or Q&A. I don't think so. I see anything, Ian or Kevin or Roger?
I think that's about it. Joe, you've done a good job again.
Thank you, Matt and Kaisa, and to Metso Outotec. So a few announcements before we close. We will be issuing certificates of attendance to all attendees, and you can request a copy from Miss Joan Falcotella. You can reach her at joan@philippineminingclub.com. And before we close, may I remind everyone of the upcoming Philippine Mining Club presentation on the 29th of October. And presenting will be Niels Richard Stewart, General Manager, Operations and Development, Weir Technical Center of Weir Minerals, with the topic Terraflowing and Tailings as a Resource. I think this will be a very interesting topic, so please don't miss this one. Having said that, may I turn over the floor to Ian for the closing remarks. Ian?
Thanks, Joey. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. A very interesting talk there. And Matt, Kaisa, Rudy, well done. Congratulations. We all look forward to seeing you at our next presentation. As Joey has indicated, it's Weir Minerals on October 29. Now, like the ending of every session, it's time for you now to turn on your cameras so that we can get a group photo. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant Friday evening and a weekend. Bye. Turn on your cameras, please.
Okay. Please turn on your cameras, guys.
Thank you, yes, thank you.
Okay, in 3, 1, 2, 3, smile.
You get that job?
Yep. One more.
One more take.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. And last. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, one last.